We're at the International Corner. With us, it's Arian Galdini, the president of LRE, and something struck my eyes lately, and it is the fact that every time LRE does something, 2 or 3 days later, I see the same response from the other parties. What's the connection there? What do you think? Are they watching you, or what's going on?
Well, it's like they need food for their thoughts, because till now their politics is finding thoughts for food. Their politics has always been thoughts for food. Their politics has always been using people's need. They have never answered to visions. They have never answered to common sense and common outreach for the society. They have kept the society hostage of the concept of thought for food. Now they see that things are changing, because people are requiring something different. And now they see who's the source of food for thought. And I believe that we are breaking taboos here. LRA is not just a new movement, but it's a taboo-breaking party. We have been here as a party that was born by nothing. We had just a vision. Zero money, zero media. We had zero sponsors. We had no famous people around us. Just simple and honest citizens who got together. And now these simple citizens are like the mouse in the milk. They are making the milk butter. So they are moving inside the society with a lot of energy and a lot of imagination. And we are a source to be, let's say, taken in consideration.
Yeah, and also, there is something that we've noticed, but I'm sure, it's a strategy that you have that it's pretty innovative. I mean, it's the first time we see someone going live on the social media and, openly. You're taking all the, all the attacks and all the people, and, there is no one. I mean, it's just you against everybody. This is pretty impressive. This is pretty news. How did you come out with this strategy?
Well, the whole idea is a crazy idea. It needs a little bit of craziness to go in that direction. But what we saw is that the regime, the three parties regime, Socialist Party which is in power, and Democratic Party which is in opposition, and LSI which is together with Democratic Party in opposition, the three of them would leave no space for newcomers. The media are controlled by them, so we couldn't really communicate to our citizens. The only way was one by one, but you know that the message one by one takes centuries. So we decided to use the only instrument we got. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But the thing that we did, and which was one of the taboo breaking from us, was that we decided to make this daily communication, we call it Corner of Hope. What is Corner of Hope? You go there and you talk to people directly, without mediation, without help. You don't have militants, you don't have administration, you don't have people you can order to follow you or to be there protecting you. You have just a few who believe in you, who have the same idea like you, but you don't have structures because you are a new thing. And that's a craziness. And we believe that's unique, because all politicians, we know that they have these PR offices, huge PR offices.
All the journalists.
Journalists, media, so all of them, when they go and deliver a message, they have a whole team preparing the message. We choose a different path. We choose the most difficult path. We entered in the jungle and we decided to fight there. The thing is that going live and communicating with all the citizens directly is like entering in the unknown. You don't know who's going to attack you. You don't know who's there. You don't know how they will perceive or receive your message. You just want to be there. At the beginning it was really hard. At the beginning we just had 200, 300, 400 people following us on those live videos on Corner of Hope. And it was moments that I really thought with myself, what am I doing? Am I crazy? What am I doing? Because there are a lot of people who are saying to me the most nasty things, dirty things, yelling at me, cursing at me. They didn't know me. The other thing you have to know is that we are breaking this other taboo. Maybe you don't know in the West, but in a dictatorship, communist dictatorship, what happens is that the language is really very narrow. Because they have only the language of the party, of the dictator. So the only words people know is just the vocabulary of the party. 200 words, I say symbolically. And those 200 words coming in the pluralism after 1990s, it's not that they got enriched. They just got divided. So you have 100 words from the Socialist Party and 100 words from the opposition. But all they mean, these 200 words are, long live our party leader, long live our party, curses on the other party, and curses on the critics of the leaders of the party. So this is the whole idea. So when you go on live, you are even going with the new language, rich language, which is all new culture. And sometimes you have even misunderstanding. You get lost in translation when you talk to people in this new language. It was amazing to see this process day by day, week by week, and then now we have 10 months communicating with people. We started with 200, 300, and we have 30,000 per day. 10,000 is the minimum, but 30,000, 40,000 per day. Just yesterday, for example, we had 27,000. So what is going on is that we did something crazy, and now we feel like we don't need any more mediation because we have this direct communication. It's like a modern virtual agora.
Well, you remind me, with all due respect, you remind me of Woody Allen, and in his book, he's saying, how much he hated to go in front of people and perform. And then he did it so much that actually became Woody Allen. I mean, the problem became, his way of becoming famous and becoming very good at what he was doing. Do you feel you got better as you were doing this, as you were exercising, or the way you are communicating to people, the way you're getting to know your country and the people all around you?
Well, it's odd because I hate protagonism. I am not doing this to gain personal protagonism. I am not doing this even to, let's say, show myself as the leader. I am saying every day to people that I'm not the leader, I'm not pretending to be the leader. I am just the one who wants to open the way. And you know what happens to the guy who opens the way on the jungle?
That he's the leader.
The one who opens the way on the jungle is the one with the sword. Because snakes come there, animals come there.
But somehow he becomes the leader because he's leading.
He's leading, but without wanting to be the leader. It's just people following. And what goes really very interesting on this process is that sometimes people see me with, let's say, blood, mud on my hands, and they criticize me, which is good because it's democratical, it's very democratical. And this modern virtual agora, it's the best thing I believe we are doing for my country.
So you're making people speak up, which is kind of hard in this kind of country. After all these years of dictatorship, people are not used to talk. I don't even I believe they're not used to exchange their ideas. Or am I wrong?
Look, in a country where people are used to follow somebody because of fear or because of payment, it's really unique. It's history making to make people following you because you have an idea. post-communist, post-traumatic, post-dictatorship societies are very skeptical. They suffer lack of trust, deeply lack of trust. And the other thing is that they are hyper-pragmatic, but not on the context of consumerism. They are hyper-pragmatic because they don't know otherwise. During dictatorship, if you do not follow the rules of the dictatorship, you could end up without bread, without life. During these 30 years of transition, because we don't have yet a democracy. We pretend to have a democracy, but we don't have yet a democracy. We have three parties who ruled the country from 30 years with 200 words, same words of the dictatorship, and people don't know otherwise. They think that the same game is in town, but with three different actors. They don't think that the game is changed.
Mm-hmm.
People, they don't know what's democracy. They don't know what's ideas, what's freedom, what's choosing. They just feel threatened. You know that in this society, still the main party in government, but not just the one who is now in government, but in 30 years, every party in government would threat people for their job.
Yeah, we've seen this.
Yeah.
You know, we noticed this this thing that even there is a kind of a mix between the party who governs the state and the state. I mean, the two things are not really clear cut.
State party.
Right.
Like dictatorship.
Right.
We have the state party during dictatorship. We have three state parties now in government and opposition. That's why I call it the regime. I don't call regime just one party in government. I call regime the agreement with negative consensus between the three main parties in the country. They have the same rules. They have the same ground of ideas and ways of doing things. They threat you for your job. They threat you for your business. So if you have a political idea differently from them, they'll take you out of job.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot have different ideas from them, or at least expose them, and you have a business, because if you do that, they will send the taxi guys to come and
and persecute you.
Yes, and
Yeah.
persecute you. So they do really all these things to keep people hostage. And exactly in this reality, it's understandable that people are hyper-pragmatic because they want food.
And how are you going to think you're going to break through that? You know, how are you going to break through this?
The corner of hope. Well, in the Bible it said the word is the first. And I believe that now we are building a new language. We are telling people that there is more than 200 words, which comes then making us possible to explain them what's real pluralism, which makes us possible to make them explain what's real freedom, what's real democracy, what's difference of ideas, what's critical thought. Through that, I believe that numbers will grow.
Well, numbers, it seems like they are growing.
They're growing. For example, they do polls. They just published a poll before Christmas, where for the first time the regime accepted that just 46% of the Albanians want to continue with Socialist Party, Democratic Party, and LSI together. So government and two parties of the opposition, together they don't make more than 46% of the popular consensus. 54% are against them. But their figures are not still the real ones. They know that it's much worse.
All right,
it's
well,
much worse. We are doing some of our own polls.
Mm-hmm.
And we are doing those online. What's going on with those polls is that we see that, for example, in several hundred people who have answered back, which are all different people far from LRE. Usually more than 90% of them have negative opinion about the government, negative opinion about the prime minister, negative opinion about the leader of the opposition, Democratic Party, LSI, and strangely, which gives us a lot of strength and the reasons why we can put on a lot of energy to continue, is that most of them are looking at us with a lot of interest. I'm not saying that we are going to get all those votes, but I'm saying that we are building a communication with them. The Corner of Hope is just one way to communicate with them, but now we are trying to diversify that. So we are doing several interviews. The Youth Forum is doing their interviews and their communication with people. So we are diversifying the channels of communication with the means we have. And the thing is that even the only Facebook page we have for the Corner of Hope is being hardly attacked with hackers and reports, because they don't want us to have this channel of communication. But anyway, they cannot stop 10,000 people who come every day. They cannot do it anymore. Just imagine a little bit. If you have 10,000 people who are faithful to you for 10 months, can you imagine what's the potential of that?
Beautiful. Well, we trying always to take, to make this corner of International Corner a little bit shorter than it is the Corner of Hope. And so we'll thank Professor Galdini, and we'll see you pretty soon in the next chapter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.